This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on India Central Asia Connect and External Affairs Minister's visit to the region. The participants are former diplomat K.P. Fabian and Simran Sodhi, journalist.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will pay a 4-day visit to Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan and Armenia beginning from today. And the aim of this visit is primarily to further India's ties with Central Asian nations. And of course, the key regional issues will be discussed, including Afghanistan. Ambassador Fabian, when you look historically and you look back a little to India's ties with Central Asian countries, do you think that this has been a strong relationship, or do you feel that there needs to be more work done in building these ties?
We have maintained a good and strong relationship with the Central Asian countries, but there is scope for doing more, because even when Central Asia was part of the Soviet Union, actually historically the second part of the 19th century, Central Asia became part of the Russian Empire. Even in 1955, Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru had visited Kazakhstan when it was part of the Soviet Union. And also the Silk Route, that again is something which is part of our historical relationship. And let us not forget that Buddhism went from India to Kazakhstan and Sufi ideas came to India from there. So it's a rich relationship, historically significant, cultural and trade. And now, of course, political, diplomatic and technological as we proceed.
When you look at the situation in Afghanistan and the way it has unfolded, and it has serious security concerns not just for India but for the region, how important do you think it is the cooperation with Central Asian nations that can help India address some of these security concerns, especially if we focus on Afghanistan?
These security concerns are not, of concern only to India. Only thing is that India has been forthright in articulating these concerns. But these concerns are of interest to all the countries close to Afghanistan, and even countries which are not geographically close. And I will tell you why. Terrorism is unfortunately a significant threat to civilization. If Afghanistan's soil will be used by terrorist groups, that is a matter of concern to all of us, to the entire international community. And there, we need the cooperation of the entire international community, and in particular of our friends in Central Asia who have a say in what is happening in that region. So I think India's cooperation with these countries in the area of prevention of terrorism is important, but that is only one of the areas for our cooperation.
Ambassador Fabian, we also see that two major powers in the world and in the region, that is Russia and China, also feel vulnerable to this spill of radicalism, terrorism, which you were talking about, especially if Afghanistan is unstable or it continues to not show any signs of stability. Do you feel that the Central Asian republics, because of their physical proximity to Afghanistan, it can also help India, Russia to reach a common understanding of how to deal with this problem or with this situation as time goes on?
It is in the interest of all of us, and let me add, it is in the interest of Afghanistan also. Except for the terrorist groups, there is nobody else who would benefit from increased terrorism. So all of us have to cooperate, and I believe that the Central Asian countries have an important role to play. Only thing is that I would add that China, of course, is worried, but China has been working very closely with Pakistan in Afghanistan, and for what it is worth, the Taliban leadership has publicly and I believe privately too assured China that they would not give any assistance to. You see, China has considerably large Muslim population in Xinjiang, and it is generally believed that China has used methods which are not always respectful of human rights in dealing with the population there. And publicly, the Taliban leadership has assured China that they will not give any support to the rebels in Xinjiang. but it's a complicated matter, so we'll have to wait and see how it goes. And as regards Russia, Chechnya, as you know, there was a big revolt some time back, and it was bloodily put down. What shall I say? The fire is not there, but the embers are still there, and Russia has reason to worry. But at the same time, China is working very closely with Pakistan, and to my mind, Russia and China will be working together, though Russia has made some statements which sort of indicate slight differences, but let us see. We have to wait and watch.
Ambassador Fabian, the Ministry of External Affairs, while announcing the visit of the External Affairs Minister, said his first destination will be Kyrgyzstan, where he will hold talks with his Kyrgyz counterpart, apart from calling on the president of the country. And this is his first visit to the country as External Affairs Minister. Then the minister will be in Kazakhstan from October 11th to 12th to attend the 6th ministerial meeting of the Conference of Interaction and Confidence Building Measures in Asia. This will be held in Kazakhstan, and after that he is expected to be in Armenia on October 12th to 13th, again the first ever visit of an External Affairs Minister of India to independent Armenia. Ambassador Fabian, when you look at the fact that India is reaching out to Central Asian countries, and this would be the first ever visit of the External Affairs Minister of India to Armenia, do you feel that this consolidates India's ties with the Central Asian republics, especially as they seem to be becoming more and more important with the changing geopolitical situation?
Kyrgyzstan became independent in 1991. India was among the first to establish diplomatic relations with Kyrgyzstan, and there is a resident Indian embassy there since 1994. Kyrgyzstan supported India's joining the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Kyrgyzstan has supported India's bid for a permanent seat in the United Nations Security Council, and we have a number of agreements. In fact, as many as 15 documents we have signed. As you know, Prime Minister Modi visited Kyrgyzstan in 2015 and in 2019. And if I may list out some of the areas of cooperation: health, then a relationship with our Import-Export Bank, ITC, that is communication, then legal metrology, and then there's also a relationship with our think tank, Research and Information System, RIS, which, as you know, is in habitat building. And that relationship is with the National Institute of Strategic Studies in Kyrgyzstan. And we also have our ITEC, Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation. We give scholarships. We also have military cooperation. We have a joint Indo-Kyrgyz military training exercise, and that also has been going on. Now, coming to Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is the 9th largest country in the world, and it is mineral rich, apart from hydrocarbon, and it also has uranium, and a good part of our import of uranium comes from there, probably 80%. It's very important for us. But I want to mention about President Nursultan Nazarbayev, who has been there since 1992, and he sort of our chief guest for the Republic Day for us in 2009. And our Prime Ministers, Narasimha Rao, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Dr. Manmohan Singh, and of course Prime Minister Modi in 2017 have visited Kazakhstan, and we have Foreign Office consultations. We have an Intergovernmental Commission, which is an apex body working since 1993, and we have a strong trade relationship and cultural relationship. So Kazakhstan-India relations are indeed deep and rich. Now coming to Armenia. Armenia imports from us tea, rice, precious stones, textiles, jewelry, plastics, electronics, and India imports from them precious and semi-precious stones, copper and copper products, aluminum and aluminum products, chemical industry products, non-ferrous metals. So once again, and as you know, there is an Armenian street in Chennai, and I have been there. There's an Armenian community there, and I believe you can double check on this. Armenian embassy in Delhi is on Armenian street in Delhi. So the relationship is many splendid with these Central Asian countries.
Ambassador Fabian, do you feel that the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, where all the Central Asian republics apart from Turkmenistan are members, do you feel that the SCO could be an effective platform to help improve ties with Central Asia and to coordinate on Afghanistan? What do you feel about the role that the SCO could play?
China is a very important player in Shanghai Cooperation Organization. I do not think that China's agenda for Afghanistan and the agenda of the international community for Afghanistan, I don't think that these two agendas coincide exactly, but we have to see how best we can cooperate.
Ambassador Fabian, one of the ways that a lot of analysts have pointed out that India can deepen its engagement with Central Asia could be through more trade. We see that, for example, as you pointed out, China's trade with the Central Asian republics amounts to nearly $100 billion and India's is about $2 billion. And this is despite the fact that all these Central Asian republics are rich in energy and mineral resources, as you had pointed out, oil, natural gas. Do you feel that trade is probably one of the areas India can explore going forward and an increase in trade with the Central Asian republics?
Trade can go only with good connectivity, and we have a problem with connectivity there. Let me put it this way. If Chabahar project moves forward and if we can get connected through Iran, that will make a big difference. So trade, apart from Kazakhstan, which has got a Caspian Sea coast. Otherwise, they are sort of practically land-locked countries. For connectivity, it's important. Some of the projects we had, prefer to say, North-South Transport Corridor, for example. But these have to be revived, and we are trying to revive them. But let us see.
Ambassador Fabian, we also see that Central Asia has always been perceived by India as a strategically important region, primarily because of its geography, its natural resources. But today we have a changed scenario. We have the Taliban in Afghanistan. Do you feel that increases the importance of the Central Asian republics, one for India and two also globally, because it would be important to have this relationship as India moves forward in trying to maintain some sense of what is happening in Afghanistan?
We have to change Taliban's behavior. Taliban have to respect human rights. Taliban have to respect women's rights. Taliban have to respect the democratic rights of the people of Afghanistan. Now, I agree that Taliban have a certain ideology, but I honestly believe that with proper diplomatic and economic pressure, it is possible to change Taliban's behavior. Whether their mindset can be changed or not, I do not know. But in diplomacy, what matters is behavior, not the mindset. So I think all of us, India, Central Asian countries, and the rest of the world should work together. After all, you see, while we have reservations about Taliban, we also have to recognize that the people of Afghanistan are suffering. So humanitarian aid should be rushed. And that is something where we can all work together. For example, the Indira Gandhi hospital there, it is in a sad state. So it will be nice to see that hospital restored to normal functioning. And whatever India can do in that respect, we should do. And I am sure that India can do that. Only thing is that, you see, we should insist, and not by talking to the Taliban directly, but we should tell the United Nations, listen, we are prepared to restore it to normal functioning, provided one or two conditions are satisfied. A, our team should get absolute protection. B, the Afghan women who were working earlier there before the Taliban took over, whether medical or non-medical, they should be free to come and work. In other words, we want a change of behavior on the part of Taliban. If these conditions are satisfied, we shall take over the hospital and run it.
We will continue our discussions on India's ties with the Central Asian republics, especially with the changing situation in Afghanistan. With these comments, we bring today's discussion to an end. Thank you.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on India, Central Asia Connect and External Affairs Minister's visit to the region. The participants were former diplomat K.P. Fabian and Simran Sodhi, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.